well, it is technically
It
alive.
is, yeah.
It is technically alive, but that's the way that children should be brought up. They should be brought up with, these stories. Even with the Bible stories as well. You can't just tell children, you can't just tell children the story in the Bible as it is told. You have to withdraw some details and kind of spice it up. And even the morals that could be drawn from that story has to be told in a way that is appealing to their
Mm.
young mind because the brain is developing. So yeah, fairy tales, yeah, I welcome that.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the Bible, but what about the nativity story? Now, as I remember, and probably you do at school, when
Yeah,
we're very young, when we first start at primary school, the
yeah,
nativity story is told to us in a factual way as to what the Bible tells us happened. So we're not having to invent. You say we have to sort of change the circumstances of some Bible stories, and I guess that's true. But we do tell children the truth when they're 4 or 5 in terms of a nativity, and yet we have the when you think the concept of stranger danger for kids. I
yeah,
mean, kids nowadays are no doubt told, as they always have been, that don't talk to strangers. If someone comes up to you, don't talk to them unless they were in need of something. The child, stranger danger, and yet we talk about Father Christmas, Santa Claus. Now
yeah,
that's obviously light-hearted, but something I remember when my Kimberly was very young, she was terrified if we took her to the department store and there was a Father Christmas. She didn't want to see him. She would just cover her eyes and just not want to go anywhere near because I guess this big character with his long beard and his red coat, it just frightened her. She was very young, obviously. Um, but similarly, if you saw some of the big, like the football mascots, the great big animals you have at football, some children hate that. I mean, I see that with little kids who are down the front at Crystal Palace, and then the two eagles, a man and a woman, but they're dressed as big eagles, come along, and generally that the kids are okay, they put their hands up for the high five, but occasionally you see a little child and they really get frightened. So yeah, fairy tales, we can understand them, but there does come a point where children say, I don't know, when they're 7, 8, 9, 10, they say to their parents or to a sibling, is Father Christmas real? And they start to doubt the reality of it. And I think I suppose it depends on their age, some parents will continue the story, the myth that happens. But yeah, we seem prepared to sort of tell lies to our kids when we feel it's appropriate, and maybe it is. Other times we say no, we shouldn't encourage them to like a strange person or something like that. But yeah, I take your point. I think nursery rhymes or fairy tales are part of growing up, and I don't suppose it's harmed many of us, has it?
no.
Okay, the next one then. Can we trust our senses these days? We've got 5 senses, haven't we? Touch, taste, smell, hearing, and what's the other one? That's my question for you. What's the other one?
Right. So
Touch,
there's
taste, smell,
sight,
sight, of course. Yeah,
sight,
sight.
yeah.
Yeah. So we got 5 main senses. Some people say we have like sixth senses. Sometimes we have a sixth sense about something. This extra sensory perception, but generally it's accepted that physically we have 5 senses. Now, do you think we can trust our senses all of the time or most of the time? Our senses all of the time or most of the time? What do you think?
Well, I think we can, but some with like my cousin in London is sense of smell. And this was before COVID. This is not because I know a few people that lost their sense of smell
Mm.
during COVID or after COVID or whatever. But he's always had this since we were kids, and sometimes you know, you'll spray some, you know, perfume on, and he said to you, I can't smell it. Ah, how can you not smell that? You know. So yeah, there's exception, isn't it? It's exceptions to the kid. But I think generally you can trust your senses. Generally, unless you got
Generally.
something on your mind, then
Yeah, but I think we have to be careful now, though, don't we, of technology?
all
Because
right.
let's mention the dreaded words artificial intelligence. I mean, I don't know whether I mentioned this to you before on one of our podcasts, but a classic example, really, of when we can't trust our senses, in this case, the sense of sight, happened to do with my football club. Now, you may or may you do know that they won. Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last year, and shortly after that, the Community Shield. Now, these two great trophies, legendary trophies, really, particularly the FA Cup, were on, they still are, I think, on show at at the club's ground. And a few months ago, not too long ago, all members of the club, all fans, were invited, if they wanted to book an appointment, to come and have their photograph taken with these trophies. So you can go along individually or with somebody else or whatever, a group of you. So I did that, and my sort of football crew, so to speak, we all did it, and it was great to sort of. You couldn't really touch them; you weren't allowed to, but you could. It looked as if you were, and you got some nice photographs back, online the same day. But one of my pals, he did it as well, and he got great photographs, just two or three stills. Um, and anyway, he then decided to use one of the AI apps, which has been in the news lately for various reasons. And he posted the result, the video that came out of it, on Facebook so people could see it. And it is incredibly clever because you see him, he's first of all, he's standing there looking proud of Palace with these trophies there. And then all of a sudden, he physically picks up the FA Cup, looks around and runs. And the camera sees him running out the door. And when I first saw this, I thought, what? And then, of course,